What is going on, my friends? My name is Alex, and welcome to the channel. I hope you all are having a great day today. And today we're going to be checking out a video that was just recently recommended to me. It's actually going to go in depth of TXT lore, which is, I think, perfect given that the album comes out literally in just a few hours. Like, we are so close. I've been wanting to do a video like all day today, and my internet was out all day. So I finally got it back, and I'm so glad to see this comment. It's a video by Bookish Theories, and it looks good. So let's get into it. All right, so we got this lore breakdown video here. I'm excited. It's they said that it should bridge in the gaps that I have because I check things out of order throughout the channel. So some of the storyline of the lore, it's kind of all jumbling out of the place. So I think this will help just in time for the new album, which I'm so excited for. I can't wait. Like I said, we're just a few hours away from it releasing. Like, let's go. Let's get into this.
Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. Today we cry by together, breaking down the lore, story and references included in the concept trailer of Tomorrow by Together's The Start Chapter Together. So today we have quite a lot to unpack because this is it, guys. As confirmed by the members themselves, after 6 years we're actually approaching the end of this story. So let's take a look at the trailer to see what to expect. Since I'm posting much later than usual, I'm sure that by now most of you already noticed all the references and Easter eggs hidden in the video, but the more you watch it, the more you find. So let's break it down, starting from the concept of the album itself. According to the press release, the Start Chapter Together tells the story of boys saving each other and the world by calling each other's name. Calling the name is something that is only possible when people really empathize with one another, and as we know, the concept of remembering the name has been at the core of TXT's story since the very beginning. In the lore, each member has a true name that is different from the name they go by. It's a name spoken in the language of the universe that reveals their true fate, their purpose in this world, as well as the real essence of their soul, but in a sense it goes even deeper than that. Symbolically, knowing somebody's true name also means to know them so profoundly and completely that you understand who they truly are. You see, as a storyline, the Star Seekers is not always the easiest to follow, and I'm the first one to admit that, because this lore kicks my ass every time that I cover it on this channel. Once you see it for what it is, though, at its core, this is a story about friendship, growth, healing. It's about 5 boys who learn to see their own magic through each other's eyes, who are saved by each other's empathy, because their friendship heals their scars and turns them into something beautiful, something to be proud of instead of a source of shame. In a world where evil preys on you, where it's so easy to get lost and turn into a monster, this is a story that fundamentally tells you that empathy can save the world, that togetherness and unity are the answer, and that even if you leave, that is, even if you get lost, you can always find a way back once you remember who you truly are. As the logo countdown reminded us, in fact, this is first and foremost a story about 5 magical boys who made a promise with a star to always come back even if they got separated. When the boys forgot the promise, the star fell asleep. She began fading as the memories of stars began to fade as well, but the dreamers eventually remembered the promise, so the star came back to life the moment they called her name. That was a type of magic only they could accomplish because they used music to save her life. As they told us in the Star Seekers, songs are the original magic because they move people's hearts and can change the world. After all, music connects people, that's why we're all here, right? It can heal you, it can comfort you, it can give you a voice. And in the story, the most powerful song of them all is the Song of the Star, which so happens to be the song that they're singing in the trailer. This song has been referenced for the longest time in both their lore and discography. That was the song they were always supposed to remember and the song that can save the world. And now it's finally here, which means that the story is finally wrapping up. In the trailer, this ending is portrayed by paying homage to the story so far, so the video fittingly opens with a shot of our beloved star as we left her in Nap of a Star, which is the song that kinda started it all if you think about it. To this day, Nap of a Star is possibly the most meaningful video in TXT's catalog. It showed us how it all began, but it also foreshadowed how it would end, together, so it's only appropriate for this ending to bring us back to the beginning. As the video pans out to reveal the empty crossroads and the owl overlooking the scene, we also see callbacks from other iconic eras. We see that this is not a bear from the Dream Chapter Magic, the spellbook from Eternally, Frost and the Star Seekers. We have the Ferris wheel from Blue Hour, which in the story is located on Magic Island, and we also see the crown, which is a callback to the Little Prince Tomorrow era, but also to Crown itself, you know, the debut, their beginning, all set in the world introduced in Nap of a Star. If you look closely, however, we also notice some small differences in comparison to that video. For one, the star itself is not completely broken here, it's still moving. Then we have the wallpaper, which has the same pattern as the one in Yeonjun's room, but in a different color. This may or may not suggest that we are in a different timeline in comparison to up of a star, because
Didn't
in the
even
Star
notice the
Seekers,
wallpaper.
from time to time, the boys travel to different dimensions to meet other versions of themselves. It goes to show that their destiny is the same destiny in every reality. No matter what timeline we're talking about, they're still the chosen ones, so the small changes could be a nod to that. The biggest change by far, however, is definitely the owl, which was a regular spectator in Up of a Star, but here has the same eyes as the infamous odd-eyed cat, which has been tormenting them since the very beginning.
Okay.
Even worse, it's not even the only one, because as we cut to Subin moping over a ruined birthday cake, the breaking news announced that a meteor shower is expected tonight. Gatherings beyond system jurisdiction are restricted, and surveillance units will respond if detected, with the units in question also having odd eyes as they descend to the streets. Now, right off the bat, these visuals can be interpreted in different ways. I'd say one more metaphorical and one more literal. Considering that the cat is an entity that yes helps them but also screws them over time and time again, the odd eyes might symbolically represent the hardships of the world constantly looming over the boys trying to grow up in a difficult environment. They loosely represent the evil lurking, always watching, always judging, controlling, which the boys must overcome together. Since the comeback is so based on the lore, however, realistically speaking, this time the odd eyes can be much more than just a metaphor. They seem to represent a physical, tangible threat of an entity hunting them down and closing in on them. And the video seems to confirm this as well, because later on we see the creature's true form as it takes Subin. You see, in the Star Seekers, the cat is revealed to be an interdimensional entity that comes from another universe and now has to wander from world to world trying to find something to go back home. This also kind of explains why it shows up in both the Star Seekers and BTS's Why I On Wa, despite the two stories being set into seemingly different realities.
Really? It shows up in BTS's stuff too? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
BTS's Why I On Wa, despite the two stories being set into seemingly different realities. But even more interestingly, in Temptation, this entity was portrayed as the devil, luring them away from reality and into a world of fantasy. Now, does this mean that the cat is the actual devil? Maybe, maybe not. We still don't know for sure, but it certainly acts as a devil-like figure in the story, because it offers them help, strikes a pact with them, only for this pact to backfire and lead to unspeakable consequences. In this case, the odd eyes to me speak on the fact that evil has its eyes on them, because they are the chosen ones to save the world from the apocalypse. The meteor shower is also important here, because it's an event that takes place in many other videos and is usually associated to the Doom's Night or the end of the world. Think of 0 by 1 Love Song, for instance, or the VCR from Act Lovesick, Magic Island even. The meteor shower seems to be an omen of doom, a skyfall, but as we'll see in a second, this time it might also have another function, which I'll come back to in a second. Back to Subin and his cake, this scene immediately reminded me of Will Never Change, but I've also seen people comparing it to this ghosting performance where Subin got ghosted by the others, which I think really fits the vibe. Truth of the matter though, if we consider this opening in context, the 5 candles and the cake itself falling apart kind of foreshadows what is about to happen. It's a clue that their friendship is about to fall apart like the cake, maybe destroyed by a lack of communication represented by the broken phone, or maybe even by the pressure coming from the outside world.
This is crazy. Like, it is so deep, all the layers throughout 6 years of lore. It's actually insane how in-depth they've gone to continue the story and have it, you know, foreshadowing, like, just hidden things in there that you just don't expect, the subtle changes, and it's beautiful. This is a really well done story by them. Like, it's nuts. It's a lot to drag in. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for telling me about this video. This is really helping. This is really good.
By the news. This
really well
causes
made.
one of the candles, that is, one of the members, to burn a little faster, thus leaving all the others behind. Sure enough, when we pan out, it seems that this is exactly what is happening. In this party, the 5 little princes still have their crowns. In the last trailer, they remember tomorrow, right? They regain their crowns because they remembered the name and the promise, but now the world is getting in the way once again. Because of that, it's very easy for this crown to come off once more and leave tomorrow behind like the devil wanted in Temptation. And as it often happens, it's Yeonjun the one that removes the crown first. Once again, he's the one to break the promise, to forget about it, which is very much connected to his true name, which is Promise. As we first saw in Frost, in the Star Seekers, each character's true name was aligned to a mythological character first introduced by a fortune teller on Magic Island. In the story, Yeonjun's mythological counterpart breaks an oath as well, so it's kind of fated that he's the oath breaker of the group. And even if he will redeem himself himself, for now things will get messy. As Yeonjun confronts Taeyeon and leaves, he gives his crown to Hyunin Kai as both Taeyeon and Bongyu remove theirs and part ways. As always, Angel Kai is kind of collateral damage here because he does nothing and still gets dragged in the drama, but in the back, Subin is getting left behind as well. This is especially relevant because his true name is Tomorrow, so by leaving him behind, they are effectively leaving Tomorrow behind. They're doing what the devil wants, which is getting separated. If you remember, this was also the main theme of Eternity, which was all about the end of their friendship overlapping with the end of the world, and the boys failing to save Subin from the cat. This fight and its aftermath have a lot of callbacks to Kenshi Simi, with them breaking the promise, for instance, them getting separated, as evil lurks and the end of the world approaches. As the video continues, the references will be even more obvious, but in the meantime, let's get back to the fight. As Yeonjun leaves, the meteor shower becomes visible, and here the color is important because the falling stars are mint green like the star and the Eternity Girl, or Ghost Girl as of late. When he sees it, Yeonjun turns around to look at the audience, which makes sense considering that the star is Moa. The visuals here kind of imply that the green light made him stop on his tracks and remember the promise, so even if the meteors are indeed a sign of the apocalypse, here I think that they also have a positive meaning because they help them reconnect after the fight. As it turns back, Subin, now left behind like in Eternity, is packing his memories. Once again we see the bear, the spell book, the lover cast from the Chaos chapter. He's so mad that he forcefully removes his crown, but then, for the first time in the video, we cut to an alternative version of Subin, who is actually hugging the crown instead. Now, according to the press release, the white-clad version that we cut to here is the inner version of them, their magical true self they hide inside. For me, this is their most fundamental form, the one connected to their ancestral tribes, mythological counterparts and true names, so the cuts essentially offer a comparison between the outer world and the inner world. From the outside, Subin is mad, and his anger makes him ditch the crown like he doesn't care about it. Inside, however, we understand that this anger is an expression of his pain, because it's not true that he doesn't care. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Bear in mind that the crown not only symbolizes the little princes and them embracing their own flaws, but also their friendship and unity. Ever since the beginning, Crown told us the story of boys who were each other's savior, each other's crown, so obviously he doesn't want to let that go, and neither do the others really. As Yeonjun is about to come back though, all of a sudden the party gets raided by the Odite soldiers, and because of that, chaos ensues. This makes sense because if you remember, the Chaos chapter portrayed chaos as a void that fell into after getting separated. Remember the whole plot twist from 0 by 1, for instance, where Yeonjun was alone all along and he imagined being with the others? That's exactly it, because like we saw in Up of a Star, them getting separated.
I'd be honest, I did not know that that's what that was about, that he was just imagining being with the others. Woof, man, see what I'm saying? It's been a very long time since checking out all of those videos that you just forget those little details, and it matters. Every little part of this matters. So insane.
Room
Crazy.
for evil and chaos to enter their lives. As everyone panics, extreme panic, we pick Yeonjun's inner self as he lays eyes on Taeyeon, who in turn is getting attacked by the soldiers. Since back in Up of a Star, Yeonjun mutilated himself out of self-hatred, and now his true self has a broken horn that has been mended after that event. He goes to save Taeyeon, but as they try to escape, he gets held back. Taeyeon almost leaves him there, but once again we get to see his inner self turning around. His peculiarity in this case is the left eye, which is surrounded by flowers and ivy referencing Eternally. As he goes back to save Yeonjun, he's about to kill the soldier, but Yeonjun stops him. Inside, he removes the ivy from Taeyeon's eye, allowing him to regain clear vision and stop being blinded by anger, and this gesture leads them to silently make peace. They don't need words because they know each other and see each other for who they really are. In the meantime, Bongyu runs to Kai, but he moves him out of the way and goes off. Their inner counterparts show Bongyu's stones and Kai's wings, but next thing we know, we see that Kai gets injured. One of his wings has been ripped off, and is now kneeling and reaching out to the light. As he runs to him, Bongyu intercepts one of the soldiers holding Subin's bag, which he manages to retrieve. Inside, his goal is to protect Taeyeon's spellbook, like we saw in Eternalis Room 17 and the Star Seekers, and Kai eventually saves him, like Bongyu tried to save him. When the four finally reunite though, they see Subin floating midair. Taeyeon covers his good eye to look for a clue, which so happens to be his true name, and he sees that Subin is being taken away by the Odette creature. creature, the devil itself. Now, the floating of Subin here kind of reminded me of Stephen King's It, which they already referenced in the video with the lover cast. The cat can definitely be compared to Pennywise in terms of character traits, and on top of that, in that story, when the losers start to float, it means that they're in its control. Pennywise's victims float when they're getting trapped in the deadlights, which is Pennywise's true form, and sure enough, next thing we know, we're no longer in the real world, we're no longer in the inner world, but rather in a void where a floating house is on fire and Subin is stuck inside. This is a representation of the end of the world to me, like this is it, with the visuals also drawing parallels with the end of the Starseekers. We have the giant version of the cat filling in for the dragon of the end, and Subin quietly sitting in the house, accepting his fate. Like in the story, Saul decides to sacrifice himself to save the world. Now, this scene, in my opinion, has a lot of layers, starting from the house itself. For one, Subin goes by Hormone Weavers, so him burning, that is, him dying, essentially represents the destruction of the home, the end of everything they've built, their safe space, their friendship and their union. Second, the house on fire is also a reference to Can't You See Me, where Subin begged to be saved, but the house still ended up burning the night the world ended, so bad news on that front as well. Last but not least, there is also an element of self-sacrifice here, because as I mentioned before in the Starseekers, Saul must sacrifice himself to save the world. Eventually it doesn't really go that way, but at one point he thinks that he must die, which kind of explains why in the video he's not trying to escape. He thinks that his sacrifice is necessary, and the way the video goes about it is also very interesting, because in the story Subin is a fire elf. His element is fire, it's part of his ancestry, and yet in the video he's in a burning house, which implies self-sacrifice, that is, a death caused by something that you can control. Bear in mind, Saul also has the power of prophecy, so like we saw in Frost and Eternally, he's had visions about these events for a long time. He knows that this is what's supposed to happen, hence why, even if he's sad, he has also accepted his fate. The same, however, cannot be said for the others, who this time rush to save him. They finally respond to the Save Me request from Eternity Era. Back then they didn't see him getting trapped by the cat, he was left behind, but this time Taeyeon saw him. He found the clue, and now they're ready to make it right, and at this point Yeonjun even breaks his Gudon to help him. Now, this is very meaningful here. Back in Up of a Star, he broke the first horn out of self-hatred, because before meeting the boy with wings he didn't accept himself and was afraid of having turned into a monster. Now, however, he breaks the horn out of love, turning his horn not into a crown, but rather into a weapon, a sword, able to break through the walls of reality and save both Subin and their tomorrow. The horn and the sword symbolism is very significant in the Starseekers, because they're both connected to Eugene's ancestral tribe and mythological counterpart. Yeonjun is a Wendigo, which in the story is a warrior tribe, and his mythological equivalent is Cuchulainn, which is a warrior hero from Irish mythology. And speaking of true names and tribes, as the boys escape the void, we also see Bongyu honoring his own ancestry. In the story, Viken is hope and a dryad by tribe, so he's a spirit of the forest with healing powers that is destined to bring hope. In the video we see him heal Kai's wound. His scar becomes a wing that bears the same thorns that Bongyu has to bear, and this is actually a direct reference to the lyrics of Crown, where the boy with horns asks if his wings were created with the same pain as his. The answer is yes. In fact, all their peculiarities arise from pain. In the Starseekers, the 5 boys each have their magical attributes because they each belong to a different tribe, but these attributes physically appear only when they tap into their magic and have to pay the price to access this power. When the boys transform, it means that they're feeling pain, but this pain is also a necessary causality of the power they gain from getting possessed by their tribes. If you look closely, when the 4 run to Subin, they cross worlds. We go from the void to the inner world to the outer world, meaning that while they are being raided, the boys actually transformed to save Subin. They tapped into their tribes to help each other and save him, so after Bongyu heals Sky, all of them take flight in order to reach him. Now, finally, they fly instead of falling, and at this point the secret, Yuninkai's true name, is revealed. Their magic is revealed, their true selves are revealed, their fate, their promise, even the Song of the Star itself is finally revealed. All the secrets they shared from Magic Island on, the ones they forgot, the ones they kept, and the ones they shared, are finally realized when the boys come back to Subin and save him. The secret lyrics of the Song of the Star are finally remembered, and so are their names, which they remember the moment they call each other through song. By the end of the video, Subin is saved, and the world is saved because of it. By saving him, they saved tomorrow, so now everything is possible. The last frame of the video invites us to move on to tomorrow together, and this really wraps everything up here. As they foreshadowed in Crown, now we are perfect because we are together, them and Moa too, their star, which they invite along in the next step of their journey. Bear in mind, even in the story they don't save the world by themselves, because the Song of the Star is an expression of all humanity's love, hope, and longing for life. This is a group effort here, and the 5-star seekers are helped by a spiritual collective that is embodied by the Girl of Eternity, which during the Doom's Night is eventually channeled by a literal fan of the group. All of this is to say that in both the story and their songs, you are part of the gang. They save each other, you save them, and they save you, because realistically speaking, that's the only way to save the world, by sticking together and having each other's back. Now, to see what tomorrow will bring, for now we'll have to wait and see, but in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please think about liking and subscribing. If you want to support me, now I have a new channel for you to check out, and merch linked in the description down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
I think she did an amazing job. Like, perfect. That was amazing. This whole video was great. I think she did a great job explaining everything, to where we could understand what's going on. I know most of you probably know all of these things, but of course, it was really, really good to touch up on some stuff before the album release, because we know how lore intensive it's going to be. It's going to be nuts. And it's all coming full circle, which, there's going to be a lot of love, maybe even some tears. I don't know, because it is coming to an end of this story, and it's really, really beautiful. It's really awesome to see what 6 years of storytelling looks like, and they've done it perfectly. It really is a perfect story. It's great. You're probably not going to see my reaction to the album the day that like tomorrow when it releases, or later today, because one, I want them to get their own views. I've seen stuff about that. Want them to get as much attention to it as possible. Not me. It's not about me. It's about them getting their stuff out there and everyone enjoying it as that. So you're going to see it the following day, so Tuesday. And then also I wanted to wait, because someone did mention this, and I think it's a great idea. It is important because of how lore intensive it's going to be, that lyrics are going to be really, really important. So the latest comebacks that I've done, a lot of the videos, they do not have lyrics. So I'm just listening to the music, and it wouldn't be right to check those out without the lyrics, like I said, because they're going to be of utmost importance to hear exactly what they are. So I'm going to wait for some lyric videos to release. I may have to check out something that's not on their channel. I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take them to add lyrics to it, and I don't think I can physically wait that long. I know we can do the music video that will have lyrics, but the other songs may not. But with that being said, within the next few days, it's going to be very, very exciting. I am so thrilled. So thrilled. We've been waiting on this for a while now, and it's going to be so good. So I hope you guys are ready for it, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.